fella has made a cute little walkway simply by painting each of the stones as if they were piano keys. I guess there's two of them just to make the sidewalk wide enough, but it's basically right there. A story I heard a couple of years ago. A woman from New York flies to Reykjavik, the capital here. It's actually Keflavik is where the airport is. She flies there and she walks out, looks around at the place, and says, "No way." And gets back on the next plane and heads back to New York City. This kind of open expanse is really not for everybody. Birds, mountains, clean water, all that kind of stuff. As I said of someplace earlier, kind of boring, but it's so beautiful. And if you're looking for density of population, if you need to kind of force yourself between other people coming the opposite way on a sidewalk, it's probably not the spot to go walking around in. But it certainly suits me just fine. And then somewhere up here we come to one of the things that Iceland's famous for, and that's black beaches. There's it's basically just lava ground down into something like sand, and it's Iceland has something like a third of the Earth's lava, because this whole thing is basically that. You've got not only the North Atlantic Ridge that I mentioned before, which is basically a mountain range built up from plates moving apart and magma from inside the earth coming to take its place as it spreads out, and then building up these mountains. But there's also like a plume that really sends stuff up that over time geologically has sort of coincided with that ridge. So at this spot, roughly Iceland, there is tons and tons of lava. For those people who are familiar with Hawaii and say Etna in Italy or Sicily, it's a similar thing, but just on a really huge scale. Besides something like Indonesia, there's really not much that can match the kind of seismic activity you get around here. And so most of this place is only here because of that North Atlantic Ridge and the plume that's underneath it. And I'll have more to say when we get further in another stop, because you can get a sense of how the plates are separating here. But that definitely includes those beaches that everybody likes to go to. And definitely don't do whatever that says. And here we are, down at the shoreline. No waves to speak of. Tide's out right now, quite a ways, but it's very shallow here. So tide would not have to come up that far to make this big difference. It's beautiful down here. It's a nice place to sit and think things over. Find, as one of my friends tried to do, get a little solitude. I said, sure, I'll join you. Let me see what that's all about, your solitude. And then there, another complete with its own lighthouse, because we are out here, and like I said, in a pretty shallow area, so you can't get enough of those things. You wait to run ashore somewhere out here, but you really would be more or less on your own. So we'll see where we can find some of the darker stuff. Take a look at that. There's the kelp I mentioned earlier. Here's a clean beach, not a thing on it, including people. Out here in the middle of everything. Beautiful. Nah, I gotta get back to New York. There's an idea of the clarity of the water. And you can see on top it doesn't look black, but if you look out just past where those little wavelets are breaking, it's all black. It's one of those things where you get discussions of the age of the earth, and for people who took this stuff seriously, you just couldn't do all of this that quickly. Where does this stuff come from? And I had it described to me once that everything you and I experienced, that is the top of the crust of the earth, is something like taking a basketball and wrapping a piece of paper around it. Something of that thickness is what you and I are standing on when we are at places like this, or anywhere else in the world for that matter. Just beautiful. Shame we can't stick around longer. There we go. That's how black that stuff is. Beauty.
I don't keep a collection of, I want to photograph this bird and that bird.
Yeah, maybe it creeps up on you. You suddenly find yourself. All right, a fond farewell to Djupivogur. We're on to other parts of Iceland now. And I guess 3 more, ending in Reykjavik and on to Greenland. But I gotta say, if you've got time, and maybe preferably an RV, you can travel around the interior. This is definitely a place to spend time.
Big mural, big red building back there.